In today's video, I'm going to prove to you that Yieldmax NAV erosion is a myth. Yieldmax, Cornerstone, and Defiance helps us earn over $300,000 per year in dividends, as you can see below. And my performance of value shows that we're up 22% for the year, 22.27. The SP is up 14, the Nasdaq's up 18, the Dow's up 3, and the Russell is down 0.5%. So we're beating all the indexes with Yieldmax, Cornerstone, and Defiance. We're up 22% year to date, and we're also up 0.33% today, which, as you can see above, is beating the S&P. The S&P is up 0.02, the Nasdaq's up 0.13, and the Dow's up 0.17. So we're beating all the indexes with Yieldmax, Cornerstone, and Defiance on a daily basis and on a year-to-date basis, and they help us live the FIRE lifestyle. If you need help doing the same, email me for my e-guides at akintodd48@gmail.com. FIRE stands for Financially Independent Retire Early. So we must be doing something right with Yieldmax, Cornerstone, and Defiance if we're beating all of the indexes. Yes, I use some margin here at this channel, so for every $1 you put in your account, you get $4 of purchasing power. I just use a small amount of this margin to get ahead. We're at $256,000 in margin debt right now, and I don't care because my dividends of over $300,000 will pay that back in less than 1 year. So not worried about my margin debt because my leverage goes away, so the risk goes away. I'm not worried about my margin interest because I've negotiated it down twice. Many of my clients who bought my e-guides did the same thing. When you buy my e-guides, you get free access to the Discord chat room for life, where we alert you of the Cornerstone rights offering announcement, and you also get my phone number for life. So just keep this in mind. So we'll get back to Cornerstone in 1 second. Cornerstone doesn't decay, Yieldmax doesn't decay, and Defiance doesn't decay, and I'm going to give you the proof right now. So let's just go to a chart of Morningstar. All right, my favorite place. This is the best resource to use, in my opinion, to get a full picture of what these funds are doing. So look at the legend here on Morningstar. Blue stands for the investment price. Well, blue here is beating this red, which is the index. So it looks like YMAG is beating the index here. It's made you about 20% since its inception. So $10,000 invested, you're at 12,000 roughly. So that's about 20%. And again, it's beating the index, which is in the maroon. Now let's go over to Cornerstone. First of all, let me just say Yieldmax is 50% maintenance. So I can't have too much in Yieldmax or Yieldmag because when you're living the FIRE lifestyle here, you have to preserve your maintenance. These are 50% maintenance, and Cornerstone is 30% maintenance. That's why I put so much in Cornerstone, and you can't have too much in YMAG and YMAX anyway because they're not fully diversified. So they're doing great. There is no erosion here, as you can see on the true chart with Morningstar, but these funds do have high maintenance, and that's the key to living the FIRE lifestyle. Again, maintenance is very high for Yieldmag, it's 50%, and at Cornerstone, it's 30%. So maintenance is the secret to keeping your available withdrawal high. If you need more help understanding maintenance, that's in my Volume 3 e-guide. So if you can look above here, you'll see that my available withdrawal is around 311,000. That means we can withstand over 30% corrections in the market and still withdraw freely from my account. That means that even with this margin debt, I could swipe my E-Trade card and go wherever I want in this world. I can buy cars, clothes, shoes, whatever I want. I know this message sounds a bit repetitive if you are a longtime follower of this channel, but most people who watch these videos are newcomers, so I have to say this for all newcomers. Plus, it doesn't hurt to give everyone else a reminder of what we're doing here, okay? So $256,000, you can swipe your E-Trade card and go wherever you want. Once again, you can add to this debt, and then your dividends pay it back at the end of the month. The only thing I'm ever worried about is keeping high available withdrawals so that I can withstand over 30% corrections and still withdraw freely out of my account to pay my bills and everything like that, because all of my bills are automated out of my E-Trade account. So we can withstand over 30% corrections, and then if we go beyond the 30% correction, I always have my put options on just in case. Okay, so I sell put options here. This is how we get our extra 30 to 50,000 approximately in premiums every year, is by selling these options. But I also buy put options, okay, to ensure my portfolio beyond a 30% correction. You don't need to have a lot of money in these put options because they will go crazy in the event of a 30% correction. You would see a 100x in these options if the market were to truly crash 30%. So you don't need to have a lot of money in those options. You just need to have some, and you need to pick the right strike price with the right gamma and delta. And if you need more help understanding how I insure my portfolio with put options, that's in my Volume 5 e-guide. So we keep this debt at a relatively conservative number. It's what my dividends can pay back at the end of the year plus the bills that I have, and I'm not worried about the interest. But we still want to be aware of the maintenance, and maintenance is the key with Yieldmax. Once again, it is 50% maintenance, whereas Cornerstone is 30% maintenance. Now let's go look at Cornerstone. Okay, Cornerstone is a 4-star fund, as you can see here on Morningstar, and you'll see that it's also moving upward, left to right. So that NAV erosion is just not true for Cornerstone either. If you go to a chart of Cornerstone here on E-Trade, you'll see that it moves sideways to down on a 10-year chart. But if you time it between its rights offerings, it averages 20 to 30% premiums per year, plus it gives you a 21% dividend every year that it sets at its NAV. So right now the dividend is around 16% because the fund has moved up. This is what happens when you have a dividend yield and then the stock moves up, the dividend falls. That's just what stocks do with dividends. But Cornerstone has a 20% dividend every year and 20 to 30% premiums that it averages. Plus it has a special drip where if you own the stock up here at around 8, it's dripping that 20% dividend down at 7 for free money every month. So Cornerstone has a very special advantage. Not only is it totally indexed, not only does it move upward, left to right and not erode on its chart, but it has that special drip which gives you extra gains on top of this dividend. You just have to play Cornerstone properly and time it between its rights offerings, and that's in my Volume 4 e-guide. When you buy my e-guides, once again, you get free access to Discord for life, and we alert you of the Cornerstone rights offering announcement here on Discord. So we have over 1,000 members here pursuing the FIRE lifestyle at Discord, and we're all watching for the rights offering in Cornerstone, because if you play Cornerstone properly, you pocket the 20 to 30% premiums and then you reload after the rights offering. Okay, so we get ahead with Cornerstone. It gives us our day's gains here, 0.45, which Yieldmax and Defiance don't always give you. So we get our day's gains from Cornerstone, and we get that dividend, and we're fully indexed with Cornerstone, and it's 30% maintenance. So Cornerstone, I have 400 grand of it in my account because it's totally diversified, it's low maintenance, it has a 21% dividend that's still larger than most index dividends, and it drips that dividend down to the NAV. But again, play Cornerstone properly between its rights offerings. Lastly, we have JEPY, okay, Defiance. Look, JEPY is not decaying either. Here's the index, it's in maroon, it's down here at 10.4, but look at the investment, blue. This is our investment, JEPY. It's at 11,600. So this is showing that it's beating the S&P. Yes, JEPY is actually beating the S&P. But if you go to a chart of JEPY, you'll see that it's going sideways to down. Once again, just like all the other Yieldmax and Defiance funds, look at this chart, it's going sideways to down. So everyone says, oh, the erosion is terrible in Yieldmax and Defiance. I can't stand the erosion. I need to buy STK or Schwab D or even Cornerstone because they understand how that works now, but they don't want to buy JEPY or some Yieldmax names because look at the chart, they decay. Well, that's just inaccurate. You have to factor back in dividends for Yieldmax and Defiance. So once again, Yieldmax beating the index here. JEPY is beating the index there, and Cornerstone also beats the indexes, but this chart is skewed. If you go to my past videos from last year, you'll see that it actually beats all the indexes. This is just skewed once again because last year Cornerstone had a somewhat of a down year because closed-end funds had a down year. That's why I like to have diversification with Cornerstone, Yieldmax, and Defiance. Cornerstone gives us our day's gains like I just showed you, and that special drip, and it's fully diversified, and it has low maintenance. Defiance has the dividends but no growth, and then Yieldmax has dividends and some growth, but Yieldmax has high maintenance, okay? So we can't put too much in Yieldmax, plus they fall by the amount of the stocks. Nonetheless, Yieldmax is not eroding, okay? It's not decaying on its chart. Here's the true chart of Yieldmax, here's the true chart of Cornerstone, and here's the true chart of JEPY. These dividends all give us qualifying income to live the FIRE lifestyle, which dividends give you income to show to banks to get more loans. That's how we also level up our account. You can't level up with trading gains. Traders lose 90% of the time, and banks don't rely on trading gains because they're too up and down. They're not consistent. They need dividends. So Cornerstone, Yieldmax, and Defiance gives us those dividends that we need, and Cornerstone sets its dividend every year at 21%, so it doesn't change. Yieldmax dividends will fluctuate, Defiance dividends will fluctuate, but I anchor my portfolio with Cornerstone because the dividends don't fluctuate. You just have to time it between its rights offering, and they didn't even have a rights offering last year. They don't have rights offerings every year, but you do want to watch the premium levels in Cornerstone. When they get high enough, you want to lighten up on those positions. That's also, again, in my Volume 4 e-guide if you need help understanding the premium thresholds for Cornerstone. But it's not decaying. That's the most important point of this video. JEPY is not decaying. Cornerstone is not decaying. and Yieldmax not decaying. So I really don't want to hear these arguments anymore. I'm trying to dispel these myths about Yieldmax, Cornerstone, and Defiance. You can't go by the chart. You have to go by math and dividends. You have to have a repentance, as it says in the Bible. You have to have a radical change of mind if you want to pursue the truth. And the truth to investing is you have to buy the indexes and you need dividends, because dividends cash flow you over time regardless of what share prices do. If SPY falls or QQQ falls in a given bear market, you're not going to get paid anything. Cornerstone will keep paying you, Yieldmax will keep paying you, and Defiance will keep paying you. So this is the truth to investing. Indexing with dividends, and then if you use some margin on top of it, you get extra gains, and then dividends just pay back your margin. So there's really not a lot of risk to using margin. You just have to use small amounts, and you have to watch your maintenance, which again is in my volume 3 e-guide if you need help understanding maintenance. And if you can pay back your debt within 1 year, well then what's the risk to using margin? I just use Defiance to pay down my margin a lot faster than most other funds can. And again, why not when Defiance isn't decaying? Okay, so please stop saying this. Every time I make a future video, I'm going to see these comments. Well, the NAV erosion is just so bad in Defiance, I can't stand that. Well, again, just go to Morningstar and look at the true chart, and you'll see that these funds do not decay. The underlyings are the S&P and NASDAQ, and they're not decaying. They're obviously moving upward in price. So there's no way you could be seeing decay in these charts. They're just issuing your shares back to you when they pay you the dividend, which means it's tax-free. When Cornerstone issues return of capital to you and returns your own money to you through these dividends, well, again, that's tax-free as long as you don't sell. So if you hold these stocks long enough, they won't decay and go to zero, because they'll just do a stock split. Look at what Tesla did with Tesla. Okay, Cornerstone has had stock splits. So you theoretically would cash flow your position in 5 years with a 20% dividend in Cornerstone. And even if it goes down, 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 and down, they'll do a reverse split. So you constantly make more money. Therefore, you double your money after 5 years, and everything after that is house money. And then if you think it's still eroding on the chart, you're mistaken, because go to Morningstar, you'll see that it's actually moving up with the indexes, because the indexes don't decay. They move upward, left, or right. And these funds, they don't show it on E-Trade, but they show it on Morningstar, because you have to factor back in the dividends. So there is no decay in these funds, and I just wanted to set the record straight for all of you who think that these funds are eroding and paying me unrealistic dividends. Look, we're getting days gains, we're outperforming the market, and they're actually beating the indexes on their Morningstar charts. Okay, so if you need more help doing what I'm doing, email me for my e-guides at akintodd48@gmail.com. When you buy my e-guides, you get free access to Discord for life, and you get my phone number for life, so just keep this in mind. Discord has everything you need, okay? It has the Cornerstone rights offering announcement, we have a Yieldmax channel here, a Defiance channel, we have a tax channel, we have a brokerage specifics channel in case you're wondering who has the lowest maintenance. We have everything you can think of at this Discord chat room, because it's the best Discord chat room in the world. And also, you'll have my phone number when you buy my e-guide. So if I can't answer whatever questions you may have about your brokerage account, someone here in Discord most likely can. All right, so once again, there is no erosion in these Yieldmax, Cornerstone, and Defiance funds. I just proved it here on Morningstar. And if you like this video, click like or subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon, everyone. Thanks.